Hello, and welcome to Give That Fan a Podcast. I don't know. I'm doing a voiceover. I don't know if this will be our permanent introductory video. In fact, I'm pretty certain it will not be. This is really just a stalling tactic in order to allow Paul and Ryan to share this live stream on our social media pages so that we don't have to do it once the show actually starts, because that makes for an awkward introduction. We appreciate you tuning in to watch the show. You can follow along with us live on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. Audio versions can be found later on Spotify, Apple, pretty much wherever you want. And everything is posted to UtahStreetReport.com. I think that's enough stalling, so let's get to the show. All right. Round two. Is this round two? Or I guess it's round two. It's a different
We're still
bracket.
waiting to
It's
play.
still round two. Well, yet to score, but things can change. I like your chances. We'll see what happens. This is our first elimination matchup. The loser will go home. Unfortunately, the winner will advance to await the loser of one of the games. I don't know. Double elimination brackets are hard.
I'm eager to be eliminated here and get the number one draft pick. I mean, we are tanking here to improve our club's chances.
Who are you taking with the first pick?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yusniel Diaz.
Yeah, Yusniel Diaz is a good call. Yeah,
It's a good call back to the previous show as well.
Yeah.
In any event, we are here with Bird's Eye View and Florida Prospect Report. Scott and Jake, how are you two doing? You're our only team so far that has not scored. Do you think that changes tonight?
No, not at all. As the elder statesman for Baltimore Orioles podcast, we are slow to the draw. We are still making jokes and only have knowledge of Orioles players from, we'll call it 2005 until maybe 2012. So we are extremely outdated and lethargic, and we're here to participate.
I feel like as long as we get orange slices at the end of this, we're winners already.
Yeah.
I can offer you a Browning banana. Is that okay?
Is that slang for something, Ryan?
It's it's the participation trophy of Orioles Family Feud.
Can I see your Browning banana?
It's the only fruit I have right now. I could go get it if you'd like.
That is not true. That is not the only fruit that is in the Ryan Blake household.
Damn it, Scott.
Ryan, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do.
Eric and Bailey, how are you two doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
I'm doing great. Just finished basketball practice and a podcast about Orioles prospects. So I'm very prepared to win, which is the opposite of what we did last time.
It was a close matchup, which is more than I can say for Bird's Eye View. But like I said, things can change quickly. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Let me share my screen. For those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, this is going to be very similar to Family Feud. The only real differences are we are playing to 250 or 5 rounds. Or three. Let's see. What are the other differences? Teams will buzz in using our private chat feature on StreamYard. They can submit any message they'd like, any combination of letters or words. I don't care, as long as they do, in fact, buzz in. We lost Eric. Eric jinxed himself. He said technical difficulties, and it wasn't his fault. This time, he has disappeared. I'll get him back onto the screen.
We lose someone every time.
But to say, you never know what's going to happen in Florida. I mean, strange things have been known to happen.
That's all right. It's supposed to happen once in a while.
But I don't see you guys, and you can't see me.
I cannot see you. That's correct.
Can you see Ryan's Browning banana at this moment?
I thought it was a family show. I don't want to.
You're gonna get us canceled.
Listen, Family Feud is all about the aspect of the innuendo, as it were.
They're supposed to be subtle.
I mean, we mentioned Wilson Betamete last time, and that was the meat. So I mean, it's all about bringing visual imagery to the spoken form that is podcast, or in this case, a YouTube video. But yeah,
YouTube video, Facebook. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. The audio versions will be available just about anywhere. I
Are
think
you
I said that
allowed
in my
to
weird
cross
intro.
post this on Twitter still?
As far as I know, although I did go to retweet the link when we went live, and I almost replied to myself twice because the buttons are in different places now. So that was fun. But in any event, while we wait for Eric to return, hopefully with video, this is the bracket as it stands now. We are here down in the losers bracket. The winner will advance. The loser will face, let's see, this is loser of game 7. So the winner will face the loser of the Bat-Around in section 336.
That's some heavyweights right there.
They are. I think that's going to be a good matchup. And
there's
unfortunately,
no
one has to
competitive
lose.
individuals in that match. The Bat-Around in section 336. No competitive genes whatsoever in terms of wanting to win at all costs.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I'm very much excited for that. And the winner will face whoever falls short in that matchup. So that's where we are now. This is our scoreboard for tonight. I do have Eric back. Do I have Eric on video? I do not.
No, I cannot get it to work. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. As long as you can see us. Can you see us?
Yes, of course. And
okay, so you can see the board. You can hear us. We can hear you. That's fine by me. So here's the scoreboard as it is for tonight.
Okay.
I was mentioning that the rules are very similar to Family Feud. When a team steals, they will have a chance to guess any remaining answers on the board if they get the first one right. And if not, the original team will get all the points, as it is in Family Feud. And one last reminder, anytime I reference current Orioles, that does not include this offseason's acquisitions. Kyle Gibson, Nomar Mazara, Adam Frazier, James McCann,
Yusniel
Reggie
Diaz.
Cordero, Yusniel Diaz. None of whom are included, so keep that in mind. Shall we move on to question number 1?
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Must we?
All right, I'm going to go based on the board. We're going to have Scott and Bailey as the first two to buzz in for your respective teams. Remember, I will read the question, then I will display it on the board. You may buzz in at any time, but if you buzz in before I'm finished reading the question, I will stop reading the question, and you will have to give me an answer, whether you know the full question or not. And so, for question number 1, Scott and Bailey, there are 99 points available with this question. The top 8 answers are on the board. And I must say, this is a fun one. It's going to make you think a little bit. Name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Scott.
I'm going to go with Matt Wieters.
That is incorrect.
Ah.
I'm going to have to finish reading the question. Bailey, the board is yours. You do not have to buzz in. Name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters.
Oh no.
You were so close.
That's why I warned you.
Now it's right.
I tried to have a voice inflection that tried to give off that I wasn't finished reading it yet, but
No,
that's
I
still
knew
hard.
you weren't finished reading it yet. It was the aspect of that was a strategy, and it was a poorly derived strategy, just like this offseason.
We're off to a great start.
But Matt Wieters is the catcher you thought of, and I understand that. Bailey, can you name a catcher who started on opening day after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters?
Oh man, this is embarrassing because when I started watching the Orioles, Wieters was the catcher. So I'm trying to think who would have been there like right before. I think I'm coming up blank.
Give you about 5 more seconds.
Yeah, I'm not gonna come up with one, unfortunately.
All right, that takes us over to Jake. Sorry, I didn't consider. I kind of grabbed questions at random for these things. I didn't consider age ranges and all that. But in any event, Jake, can you name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters? Oh, I forgot
What about
to
Charles Johnson?
forgot to display the question.
Very good.
Charles Johnson. There he is, right at number 7. 3 points on the board. Bird's eye view. You have a choice. Would you like to pass or play?
I thought we play what? Because we haven't got to play at all this whole game so far, and we've got points finally. Why don't we play?
We might have an awfully good opportunity to steal here.
Nah, let's play.
All right, we're gonna play.
All right, they're going to play. So, Scott, we are back to you. You cannot use Matt Wieters again. Name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters.
Let's go immaculate grand slam, Chris Hoyles.
There we go. Bird's eye view starting off hot. Jake, we are back over to you.
What about Mickey Tettleton?
Had a feeling you'd come up with that one. Scott, back to you.
What about Javier Lopez?
I was so excited about Javi Lopez because my cousin was a Braves fan and Javi was his favorite player. Orioles signed him. I was expecting another 43 home run season. I think he hit 23. Wasn't bad, but wasn't what we wanted. Jake, name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters.
Greg Zahn, did he ever start opening day?
Oh, wow.
Indeed. Great pool. I like that a lot. We are back up to Scott.
Let me see here. I'm trying
Still
to
have
think.
all 3 strikes to work with, 3 answers remaining on the board.
I'm blanking right now, so I'm going to go ahead and pass and take a strike.
All right. That's going to be strike number 1. Jake, can you keep the team going?
Probably not, but I'm working on it. Before Matt Wieters. Was Wellington Castillo before Wieters? I'm going to say Castillo. Must have been in the post-Wieters
Castillo
era.
was
Must have
after
been.
Matt Wieters. I believe he was 2018. I think he was it only here for a year? I don't know. Doesn't matter. 2 strikes. Scott, there are 3 answers remaining. You need one of them to stay alive. Name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters.
Can't think of one. The one name in my head, and I don't even think it was an Oriole, but Geronimo Hill is a name that's in my head for some
He was
reason.
an Oriole, yeah.
Geronimo Hill, I'll go out as one and just see.
All right. Wow.
Amazing.
Like that's way back in the 20s mindset of like.
Yeah, that's
It's
11. That's a Geronimo Hill. That's a good pull. Good
Yeah.
job.
It is. I was just about to say that's a good guess for someone you didn't think was an Oriole. Got him on the board. Jake, sorry, we are 2 answers left. 2 strikes. Name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters. Give you 5-ish seconds.
I'm going to go with Caleb Joseph.
Definitely after Matt Wieters, but that's all
Caleb
right.
Joseph is incorrect, which means Florida Prospect Report, you 2 have a chance to steal. You may deliberate. There are 2 answers remaining. Can you name an Oriole who made an opening day start at catcher after Rick Dempsey, but before Matt Wieters?
Bailey?
I started watching the Orioles in 2009. I think that's. Do you have anything?
I do. 3 came to mind when this question was asked, and neither of them have been mentioned. None of them have been mentioned. So it's kind of like, which one of the 3? There's Lenny Webster. There's Ramon Hernandez from the Dodgers. That's probably the one I want to go with. And then there's Brooke Fordyce. I think he started for one year, so I really don't know if it was opening day, but I think Ramon Hernandez was there for multiple years, so there's less risk with that pick. Yo, I want 99 points. Bailey, are we? Or I mean, I know you don't. Do you even know any of those people?
I don't want to embarrass myself. Let's just go with your gut.
All right, fine, cool. I'm sorry to do that. We're gonna go with Ramon Hernandez. Final answer.
Good call.
Nice.
9 points.
Very nicely done. That actually gives you 96, but there is a chance for 99 if you can give me answer number 6.
Okay.
There's 1 remaining.
Ooh, I want that. So I'm gonna estimate, Bailey, that this is between Lenny Webster and Brooke Fordyce. I'm gonna go, or Bailey, is it okay if we go with Lenny Webster for
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Lenny Webster.
Lenny Webster is incorrect. The sixth answer was, in fact,
Oh,
Brooke Fordyce.
Brooke Fordyce.
And the only other to receive a vote was Paul Bacco.
Never would have guessed him. Really never. Not in a million years.
He did start one opening day. Surprising, but he did indeed. So
Wasn't
that is
Jake
96
Fox,
points.
Nicely done, Eric.
Can I ask a question too? Was Paul Bacco the one that gave his own name up there to basically say, "Hey, I started an opening day"?
It's Paul Bacco's mom.
He might have been. I don't know if he's behind one of those Twitter accounts that doesn't show their real name. It's certainly possible.
Paul Bacco's mom, 347. Guys, this is going great. I love where we are.
Hey, you know what? That's okay.
You know who really loves it? Paul Bacco's mom.
You know, it was a good run. You put a lot of points on the board. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to take the board. This is a cruel game, Family Feud.
No, we're good. Like I said, we are here to participate. So glad that we got that out of the way. Ramon Hernandez was an excellent pullback.
I don't know that we are philosophically participating.
We'll get there one day.
You are present.
Once the Carlisle group buys us out, we'll go ahead and participate in the process.
As long as Fort McHenry guards Baltimore Harbor, we will suck at Orioles Family Feud.
Hey, maybe we'll run it back next offseason. I'll give you a full year to study up on the 2023 team, and we'll focus the questions on that.
No, 10 years of doing podcasts, we've never studied up. So,
well, in any event, Florida Prospect Report with the lead as of now, 96 points on the board. Bird's Eye View as of now with none. That can change. We're going to move on to question number 2 if my mouse wants to work. All right. Moving on to Jake and Eric to buzz in. Be ready in the private chat. There are 96 points available, and the top 8 answers are on the board. Fill in the blank. Besides player or coach, the coolest job at Oriole Park must be blank. Jake.
Groundskeeper.
Groundskeeper is indeed number 1. You said earlier you're here to play. Would you like to pass or play?
I think we play.
Let's play.
All right. This is a fun question because it's one that doesn't require trivia knowledge per se. It's just what would you enjoy doing at Camden Yards?
Great question.
So as much, Ryan, as I know you share the heart of that first answer in terms of being part of the grounds crew, I feel like the coolest job, though, at Oriole Park has to be like the PA announcer.
PA announcer and broadcaster are kind of clumped together. That's the number 2 answer. 50 points on the board already. We're back over to Jake. Still have all your strikes to work with. Still 6 answers on the board. Besides player or coach, the coolest job at Oriole Park must be blank.
The Bird.
Oh, you took mine.
7 people?
7 people.
It's highly underrated.
Who are these monsters that you got to do this survey?
That's the first thing I thought of.
Right.
I'm glad that answer made the board, honestly.
That's
a really good
that
answer.
should have been much higher, honestly. So I'm going to go kind of more straightforward. I'm just going to go with an usher.
Usher is indeed
Power
on the board,
hungry,
which
able
means
to take you out of your seat.
with the 4 answers you have given me thus far, that is 69 points.
Nice.
Can you raise that number? We're back to Jake.
All right, I'm going to go with ticket taker.
That
tickets
is
anymore.
strike number 1. I'm going to assume that you're attempting to stay at 69 points.
QR code scanner. Excuse me.
I don't know. Are they also ushers? Do they work as ushers after they are done taking tickets?
Well, I'm afraid to tell you now what I think they are because I'm afraid it'll be up there.
They do not work as ushers. Ryan, I can confirm that. They just
I guess they're ushering before the game too. So
correct.
That would make sense. Anyway, back to Scott. Fill in the blank. Besides player or coach, the coolest job at Oriole Park must be blank.
All right. So I don't think I would want to do this job, but I do think that there is an admiration out there for Fancy Clancy. So I'm going to go with a beer vendor.
Clancy indeed was named by a few of the people who answered vendor.
So appropriate.
So I had to put him on the board as well. That brings us to 3 answers remaining, 2 strikes to work with. Jake, we are back to you. Besides player or coach, the coolest job at Oriole Park must be blank.
I feel this one in my soul, so if it's not up there, I'm going to flip the table. But bullpen catcher. Who are these people?
I hate that bullpen catcher did not make the board. That would probably be my number 1 answer. I think being a bullpen catcher has to be the best job on the planet. But what do I know?
Yeah, I thought that would be up there.
A good guess indeed, but did not quite make the board. You will see it in honorable mentions, but I'm not going to reveal it yet because there are a couple others as well. Back to Scott.
Jake, you missed the one that I thought you would actually put up there that you idolized of doing for many a years, and even said, are we going to run down onto the field and give it a tryout? And that is ball boy, ball girl, or ball person as an appropriate basis going forward.
Good answer.
That did indeed make the board.
Ryan, where's my person on there? We are a politically correct podcast.
You're right. I should have included that.
You know what? That's it. I'm done with this thing.
I will have to make amends. Ball people are certainly included. Ball people, ball persons.
Give it time. We might be done by the rules of the game.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to send hate mail, send it to @RyeGuyBlake. @RyeGuyBlake.
I deserve that.
Brian,
I could have just made the text.
Where were we?
I could have just made the text smaller and fit it in, but that's lazy on my part. You were asking what, Jake?
I'm sorry. What's the question? What are we trying to answer here?
Well, the question's on the board. Sorry, that was unnecessary. Besides player or coach, the coolest job at Oriole Park must be blank.
I'm gonna say. I'm going to say that the coolest job at Oriole Park is being Boog.
Being Boog. I love that answer, but unfortunately, that is strike number 3.
He hasn't been at the ballpark much lately.
No, I think he's done. You
think he's gone completely?
Yeah.
I didn't see him, I don't think, at all last season.
He gave an interview. I forget where I saw it, and he said something like, I missed that. So I think that his everyday presence is done at the ballpark.
They opened one in Sarasota, and the Boog and the son were here for the opening. He looked healthy. He looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's good to hear. Well, it is over to you guys.
But if you want to get this wrong, that would feel really good.
There are 2 answers left on the board. As it stands now, 82 points up for grabs. If the 2 of you can fill in the blank, besides player or coach, the coolest job at Oriole Park must be blank.
Well,
you may deliberate.
So
can I make a suggestion to the other team? I would suggest Paul Bacco's mom is definitely one that I'd be throwing up there.
I haven't seen her at the park.
She's there. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm thinking umpire or security, and I'm leaning more towards umpire.
Okay, that's ironic because the only jobs that I have thought of that are still available to be guessed are umpire or trainer or fan. But is umpire one of the coolest ones? Everybody hates the umpire.
Yeah, we get to be in the action, right? And if wait, so you said umpire was one of the ones you thought of?
Yeah, umpire, fan, and trainer. But I think I'm kind of I really think I'm overthinking this because of how the question is. So
I would say if we both thought of umpire, that's the one we should go with.
We are united in umpire. That will be our final answer.
This is a big moment in Orioles podcast feud history. Bird's Eye View has racked up their first points. Umpire is not on the board.
Yeah! This is when I rip my shirt off, right?
Yes, please do.
This feels weird.
Are we allowed to do this?
I don't like this.
No,
You are. You earned it. 82 points are going your way. I will reveal answers number 7 and 4. Coming in at number 7, DJ, or video board operator.
I believe I didn't get that.
And at number 4, I'm surprised no one guessed this one. Bat boy / Clubby.
Oh.
Yep.
That's a personal favorite of mine. And then honorable mentions, we had a vote for GM. A couple people said player PR. I think that'd be cool. Beat writer. And my personal favorite, bullpen catcher.
Bullpen catcher. Wow.
Seeing Bat Boy made me feel dumb.
Same.
Welcome to Bird's Eye View.
Yeah. got a lot of experience in that game.
We've got 10 years of being dumb. It's nothing like recording a podcast and then immediately being like, well, that was a trash podcast after what just happened with the Baltimore Orioles.
Hey, you're welcome for the 82 points, by the way. High
No
five.
problem.
Appreciate that. Checks in the mail.
Did you take their advice and get that wrong on purpose, or was I think umpire is a good genuine guess, but
We'll never tell.
Get it wrong on purpose, I promise.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the consolation basis.
We take pity. We're fine with that.
We need a Sunday lineup every once in a blue moon.
well, it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a game here. Florida Prospect Report with 96 points on the board. Bird's Eye View coming in hot with 82. We're going to move on to question number 3. And that will be back with Scott and Bailey to buzz in. All right, question 3. There are 98 points available. The top 7 answers are on the board. Name a current Oriole you would want on your fantasy baseball team. Bailey.
I'm going to go with Adley Rutschman.
Adley Rutschman is the number 1 answer. Florida Prospect Report, would you guys like to pass or play?
We are going to play.
That's an easy one.
I think so. There are there's a handful of guys that make a lot of perfect sense here. We'll see if you can run the board. I think this is one of those questions that it's certainly possible.
Why
But
would
we
you
shall
put that
see.
out in the universe? That's not cool.
I'm sorry. It's only happened once in this game. Actually, it was against you guys last week, but that doesn't matter.
So
Eric,
I know.
Looking
Like
at bird's eye view.
this has to be major league roster, no minors.
current Major League roster, correct?
Okay, cool. Thank you for clarifying.
Current oil.
Sure.
Oriole. Current
Right.
Oriole.
That's a
see
good
who's
question
obvious.
because I'm a dynasty league guy myself, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
All right,
Is it-
Eric, it's you're up.
Oh, Gunnar Henderson. You.
Gunnar Henderson coming in at number 2. Bailey, we're back over to you. Name a current Oriole you would want on your fantasy baseball team.
Cedric Mullins.
Going straight down the board so far, 79 points already. Eric, name a current Oriole you would want on your fantasy baseball team.
I'll name one that is on my fantasy team. Ryan Mountcastle.
There you go.
Love that. Yeah.
Mountcastle is indeed on the board. You still have 3 strikes to work with. There are 3 answers left. Bailey, name a current Oriole you would want on your fantasy baseball team.
Man, a lot of guys in my head, but I'm going to go with Felix Bautista.
He's on my fantasy baseball team as well. It's clutch for me last season in the saves and holds category, even when he wasn't the closer yet. Felix Bautista on the board with 6 points. Eric, we're back over to you.
I'm going to go with the gentleman who was the home run leader last year, Anthony Santander.
Great answer.
Thank you so much.
Santander on the board. There is 1 answer remaining. Bailey, if you can give it to me, your team runs the board. If not, you still have all 3 strikes to work with.
I know he's hurt, but I'm going to go with John Means.
It's a good guess,
That's a good
but
answer.
did not quite make it onto the board. Eric, back to you. 2 strikes still to work with.
I am frustrated in my partner Bailey because I wanted him to say this person's name so I didn't have to. So listeners
I already
don't.
know who you're going to say. I already
Right.
know.
I'm going to say Austin Hayes. Thanks, Bailey. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Wait, don't worry. I think I'm going to save this.
Austin Hayes not on the board. Bailey, there is 1 strike left, 1 answer left. Name a current Oriole you would want on your fantasy baseball team.
Jorge Mateo.
Got to win those stolen bases. Jorge Mateo
Nice
coming
job.
in as the number 7 answer. Very nicely done. That is 98 points over to you guys.
Oh, that feels good.
Still anybody's game, but I'll reveal honorable mentions. I got a vote for Ramon Arias, and 1 person said, I don't play fantasy, which that's fine, but that's not what I asked. But whatever.
No Dean Kramer?
No Dean Kramer.
Ouch.
Surprising. I personally, I like the strikeout potential of Kyle Bradish if you're in a strikeout percentage or strikeouts per 9 league. But
I have 3 shares of Kyle Bradish in my dynasty leagues.
there you go. Bradish is a good guy to have, I think. I think this is the year he takes another big step forward.
Absolutely.
Would you say it's liftoff for him from here?
Good word.
Dangerous game you're playing over there.
Very.
And you see, what I mean by liftoff is actually totally different from the normal use of that word. What I mean is small incremental steps that won't get me in trouble when nothing happens.
Oh, so you're married?
Oh dear.
Win or lose, I'm so glad you guys are participating in this tournament. All right. As the board stands now, for Florida Prospect Report with 194 points, Bird's Eye View with 82, which means you have to win the next 2 rounds in order to stay alive and advance.
That looks problematic.
That's a problem.
So we will move on to question number 4. Jake and Eric, you are my buzzers this round.
Hang on. I am prepared.
This is another one of my favorite questions. 97 points, top 8 answers on the board. Jake and Eric, name a pitcher who started at least 5 games for the 2012 Orioles.
Oh, that's different.
Jake.
Joe Saunders.
Let me make sure I'm clicking the right one here. Joe Saunders is indeed on the board. Not the number 1 answer, though. Eric, if you can give me an answer that would be higher on the board, then your team gets to choose pass or play.
Oh man. It's in my head right now. I can't think of his name, and it's not Joe Saunders.
He's gone.
Why didn't we think of that?
We should have done that. Yeah.
Was that a rage quit?
That might have been a an internet or a godly salvation to.
No. I'm sorry. I'm
No, you're
back,
good.
and I can see myself.
Yeah, I see you now too.
Let's say we're coming up all good now. We got
It's
video
great
and
comedic
audio.
timing.
The person that I was gonna guess, I'm gonna guess Daniel Cabrera.
Daniel Cabrera is incorrect.
Right.
I can't put a strike up because that would ruin my thing here. But Cabrera not on the board, which means Bird's Eye View. Would you like to pass or play?
We'll play.
I think
You'll play.
Yeah.
Joe Saunders, of course, the starting pitcher in the 2012 All-Star. I can't speak tonight.
Playoffs.
He was the
Wild
all-star
card
of our
game.
heart in the wild card game.
The All-Star of our heart, indeed. All right. There are 7 answers left. Jake, you gave me Joe Saunders, which means Scott, you are up. Name a pitcher who started at least 5 games for the 2012 Orioles.
Yeah, we'll go with free agent signing for 2012, Wei and Chen.
Oh man, good one.
Wei and Chen, the number 1 answer on the board.
Really?
Maybe a little surprising, but a
A
good
little
answer nonetheless.
surprising.
Jake, we are over to you.
Chris Tillman?
Tillman is who I would expect to be the number 1
That's
answer.
what I would
here,
expect at
but
number 1 as well.
Mhm.
surprisingly did get more votes for Chen. Scott, back to you. Name a pitcher who started at least 5 games for the 2012 Orioles.
Also, another 2012 signing, Miguel Gonzalez.
Miguel, my bell.
I'm so glad he did not go forgotten. in
You
the
guys
poll.
are good. By the way, was 2012 in your window of where you said you watched the Orioles and memorized? Because you guys are doing awesome.
This is when we started the podcast, was in 2012. So this is definitely pulling off the dust is the best way to put it. But this is definitely someone in the wheelhouse is the best way to put it.
Wolf.
Well, you still have 3 strikes to work with. There are 4 answers left. What was your answer, Jake?
Wolf.
I don't think I did enough.
Wolf
What was his first
did
name?
not start 5 games for that sweet.
Randy.
Randy Wolf.
Yeah, Randy Wolf, I don't think started enough.
Randy
games.
Wolf. He did not. I'm not sure he started any, to be honest, but he was on that team.
I feel like he had 1 or 2.
Yeah, I
Scott,
think
back
he-
over
I
to
thought he
you.
was a swing man.
2 strikes left to work with.
What about Hamill?
Jason Hamill. 15 votes for Hamill. We're up to 81 points on the board. Having a good run here. Jake, can you keep it going? 3 answers left, 2 strikes to work with. Name a pitcher who started at least 5 games for the 2012 Orioles.
I'm not feeling particularly good about this now. Steve Johnson.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Steve
shocked
Johnson. Steve Johnson started 4 games.
Yep. Oh, give
For the
me
2012
he
Orioles.
came up in August of that year. I actually remember it.
I'm
I'm
shocked.
sorry. That is strike number 2. 3 answers left. We are back up to Scott.
Sorry, Scotty. I felt so good about this.
I'm going to go with big game Tommy Hunter.
Tommy Hunter was indeed a starting pitcher, at least at the beginning of that season. I think
That's
he
correct.
made close to 20 starts that year
Yep.
before he was moved to the bullpen. 2 answers left. Jake, you are responsible for both strikes so far. I see you. I see you racking your brain over there.
Wait a
Can
minute.
you name a
Tommy
pitcher?
Hunter, wait a minute. Tommy Hunter was.
1 second. Let me get all the Bud Lights. Give me 1 second.
I'm going to switch my camera off for about a minute and a half. I'll be right back. No. Tommy Hunter was acquired, and I think that he was acquired in the Koji Iwahara trade. So I'm going to say Koji.
I like that guess, but
No.
strike number 3. Tommy Hunter and Chris Davis were acquired in the Koji Uehara trade
Before 2012.
shortly before 2012.
Yeah.
Bailey and Eric, Florida Prospect Report. You guys may discuss amongst yourselves. If you can steal here, that's the game. Name a pitcher who started at least 5 games for the 2012 Orioles.
So I have 3 names in my head. I don't know about you. Brad Burgesson, Alfredo Simon, and Zach Britton. I don't know about you.
Say them again.
Brad Burgesson, Alfredo Simon, Zach Britton.
Simone.
Oh, Simone.
Britain.
You're thinking Britton? I was thinking more Burgesson because I know for a fact I saw him pitch in 2012 at the Trop, but I don't know if he'd be one of the 8 most popular answers.
I'm feeling like there's a big one that hasn't been named. Actually, there might be, even though it's 4 and 8, there's a big 2 that might not be named. One is the namesake of our opponent tonight, Arrieta.
Oh, yeah.
I believe him to be number 4, if not 8. And the other one, Dylan Bundy.
I don't think Bundy wasn't up. I think Bundy was drafted in 2012.
Okay, so then
Arrieta makes a lot of sense.
Then shall we go with Arrieta?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest name of the 5 we've said.
Okay, so just for the sake of discussion, if not, of the list you said you feel the most confident in Burgesson?
I think so, but now that you say Arrieta, that I think more people would say Arrieta.
Okay, right. So fair way to respond, and we have 2 spots left. So let's go for the win with Jake Arrieta.
Ding.
Yes, sir, Bailey.
Ding,
Nicely
ding,
done.
ding.
I think
Jake
the other one
Arrieta.
is going to be Zach Britton.
You know, I'm gonna. Well, I'll show the answer first, and then the honorable mentions. Nobody guessed Zach Britton.
Really?
He did start 5 games. for the
I know he
2012
definitely
Orioles.
started 5 games. I'm just surprised that no one guessed him.
But coming in at number 8, Brian Mattis.
Wow.
The David Ortiz killer.
The only Oriole that ever came in my snowball store and autographed something for me, Brian Mattis.
I'm sorry.
I know.
And then,
I know. I threw it away.
not quite an honorable mention, but how did you all guess Tommy Hunter and Brian Mattis, but not Britton? I can't believe no one submitted Zach Britton.
Well,
Yeah.
Good thing we didn't go with Britton.
Or Alfredo Simone.
Did Simone or
I-
Burgesson
I-
even start 5 games?
They did not.
No, Simone did not start.
Was
Yeah.
Ferguson hurt by 2012?
I might get my years wrong.
Ferguson definitely
know,
did not start that
Yeah,
much.
he was massened by 2012.
Yes.
I think.
I don't think Bergeson was on the 2012 team.
I don't think so.
I
either.
don't think. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, Brian. I don't think Ferguson was on the 2012 team. I think at that point, the Masson commercial had ruined him. At that point,
I thought Masson was like 2010.
yeah.
All right.
Nice
pulling
save by
the-
Eric there.
It was. I was worried you were going to submit Zach Britton, and I was going to have to be the bearer of bad news. That would have meant our matchup would have gone 5 rounds. However, Florida Prospect Report coming out victorious, which
Good job,
means
boys.
Way to be.
Scott and Jake, unfortunately, your time in Orioles podcast feud is up. If you could
Aw.
describe your experience in 5 words or less, I'll give you both an opportunity.
Sure.
What
And
do you
the way
got?
I would describe it, Ryan, is I'd say like a brown banana.
gonna choke on my water. Thank you, Scott.
No problem.
Jake, how about you? 5 words or less. What was it like being here on Orioles Podcast Feud?
Ryan, this game sucks.
3 words. Nice job. Actually, 4. He said Ryan.
I've got one more.
I deserve that.
Paul Baku's mom is happy.
I do appreciate the buzz-in answers. Paul Baco's mom, ball person. Again, oversight on my part. Beer me. Bailey with the classic buzz. I like that. Eric, I think did you submit your answer? You typed announcer and sent it in. I think that was you answering the question you were buzzing in for.
It was. I'm so technically not savvy. I just need to sit outside at baseball games.
That's okay. Hey,
Right.
In any event, you two advance. Bailey and Eric, congratulations. You will move on to face the loser of the Bat Around versus Section 336, which likely will not happen until after Christmas. I think we're done for now. Unfortunately, the problem I have run into, which I kind of expected, but the first round I was able to create the matchups kind of arbitrarily based on who was available on which nights. Now I need myself and 4 other people all available at the same time, which is why there was only one episode this week. So thank you, the 4 of you, for being free tonight. Moving forward, it's going to be a little tougher, but after the holidays hit, obviously people have jobs, responsibilities, travel this time of year. So moving forward, hopefully we'll be able to hit the ground running in January.
And
But
may I interject 1 second?
please.
I think the best question that I've seen on all the shows, and the one that I would like to influence maybe the questions going forward, orange sports teams.
Orange sports teams.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
I like it. There are a few similar questions to that,
I'm
but I'll see if I can pull some similar to that moving forward for you guys.
You know what my favorite orange sports team is besides the Baltimore Orioles?
Houston.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified of the answer.
It's kind of got to be the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
Gentlemen, there's
Oh,
nothing I can do.
man.
There's nothing I can do to stop this.
I love it.
Well, like I said, Ryan, it was an absolute pleasure. Best of luck
He's lying. We're big.
facilitating this through for the rest of the offseason. We look forward to its eventual conclusion by the 2023 trade deadline. So best of luck.
By the way, if the scheduling becomes a problem and someone has to forfeit, Scott and I can come back and lose again.
Absolutely.
So we are
really
busy.
good at losing.
If I have a team drop out, you'll be the first I call. I promise.
That's a terrible idea. Don't do that.
I very much appreciate you guys being a part of this. It was delightful having you two on the show. I'm sorry, but your time is up. Eric and Bailey, congratulations. We will be back after Christmas. I hope everybody enjoys their holidays, and we will see you all next time on Give That Fan a Podcast. Or I need to work on this outro, man.
Get it together.
And you should record it.
Let's get through it.
On Orioles Podcast Feud by Give That Fan a Podcast. That'll work.
Good work. Good work.
Feels